So these guys from different countries decided they want to have their cats compete in a triathlon.
Yeah.
So a guy from Mexico enters his cat.
Yeah.
And this cat's name is Uno Dos Tres.
Uno Dos Tres, okay.
And then there's a German guy who enters his cat, and that cat's name is 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And then there's a French guy, and his cat's name is 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And then a Russian guy, and that is, I don't remember how to count in Russian.
Fair enough.
Japanese guy.
Yeah.
Ichi ni san.
Ichi-ni-san.
Okay. So all these cats do the triathlon.
Yeah.
And for these 4 cats, they can bike pretty well, so that's fine.
Yeah.
And then they do the running part, and that's fine. And then I don't know if they ordered this weird or something, but the swimming happens last.
Yeah.
So the German cat finishes first, 1, 2, 3, and then the Russian cat.
Yeah.
Nope, the Japanese cat, Ichi ni san, finishes second. And then the Mexican cat finishes third.
Yeah.
Uno Dos Tres. And everyone's waiting, and there appears to be no sign of the French cat.
Yeah.
Well, it turns out the 1, 2, 3 cat sank.
Shut up. Oh my god. That's so stupid. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Remembrancers Library. My name is Ethan.
And I'm Vincent.
And this week we are continuing on for the Primarchs and where they are at post-Horus Heresy, not post-Horus Heresy, post-Istvan 5 and what the Loyalist Primarchs were up to in a little bit of time between Istvan 5 and the Siege of Terra. Yes.
Yes.
And a little bit of house cleaning right off the rip. If you guys are watching on the YouTube, thank you very much. Please keep it up. We love you guys. Like, subscribe, comment, all that blah, blah, blah. If you're on the Spotify, follow and download and like it if you want it. And then if you're on our other platforms.
How? How are you doing that? It must be some sort of chaos magic.
Unless you're watching from the future and we finally figured out how to make clips from these things.
Fantastic.
Yes. But with that aside, again, to thank everybody who's watching, who's listening, who's following us. It's a big thank you. And we'll get right into the episode here. This week, we're looking at the Lion, Lionel Johnson. But with the Lion, there's a lot of stuff to talk about.
He's busy. He's busy. He's really busy.
Well, him and his sons are really busy. So before we talk about him, we're going to talk about Luther and Caliban.
Right.
Because there's some stuff happening on Caliban, and it's a little bit freaky. So, pre-Heresy, as we know, the Lion and Luther watched as the Emperor came down to Caliban.
Yeah. And
when the Emperor came down to Caliban, it was a sign of great change on how stuff happened on Caliban. No longer were there the great knightly orders that protected the lands from the monsters that came from the Dark Forests.
The luscious and vast forests that they had. They really liked their forests. Planet-wide.
Yeah.
It was just one big forest.
Exactly. No longer were there villages of workers that could, keep these nobles that lived on the planet in money, keeping going, all that sort of stuff. The Emperor came down and he flattened everything and he, turned it into one big manufactory.
There would be no more forests.
Shush. It turned it into basically just a huge complex of smelteries, mines, lumberyards
just deforested everything, turned everything into factories, because this was a very resource-rich planet.
It was extremely resource-rich because it was a death world, so it means they couldn't develop the planet on their own. Develop it too much because
because they had their little civilizations, but the terrain was so rough, and the monsters that were in the forests were so
much rougher.
Yeah, they were terrifying.
So after this, as we know, when the Emperor showing up, the Lion would be brought into the fray of the Great Crusade. Recruits from Caliban would be turned into Astartes, and already minted warriors would be given the option to go through the surgery to become an Astartes minus gene seed.
Minus Luther minus gene seed for him because he was too old.
He was too old. He was too much of a big boy.
Yeah.
after this, the Dark Angels would go on their one of their first missions to a planet named Sarosh. And on that planet, as we talked about before, the planet was kind of lush. It was nice. It was, pretty in order planet, and they were coming into the Imperial truth, but they were taking a while about it.
Yeah. There was some shenaniganery going on in the background.
Yeah. Basically saying like, oh no, it's just the way that our political powers work.
Yeah.
It's still going on. So they're accepting this. The White Scars were there originally, and then the Dark Angels came across, and they were like, woof, this is kind of rough, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
So basically what was happening is there was an attempt on the Lion's life.
Yes.
And not to mention the delegates of the Imperium that were trying to bring this into the thing.
Yeah.
And this was the first moment where Luther would be challenged against his love of his brother.
Yes.
Because Luther was extremely jealous of the Lion, which is, understandable. The Lion's awesome and Luther's kind of just mid.
He's just kind of there, and all of his opportunities are being taken by the Lion, but there's no way that Luther could ever
be the Lion. Exactly. So the ship that the delegates from Sarosh came on, Luther and this librarian noticed kind of quickly that this ship,
something was wrong.
Well, it was a suborbital ship.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, this ship has been modified to make it to the system. Like, they would never be able to make it back down to the planet.
Right.
Something's up with that. So they go and they're like pulling the ship apart. Well, they go and the librarian pulls the ship apart and he realizes, oh, this is a nuclear warhead that's been wired into the ship.
This is gonna blow and it's gonna kill everybody on board.
Yeah. And then the librarian also notices that, hey, Luther's here too.
He's just kind of staring at it.
Exactly. He's like, oh, great lord. Like, we need to disarm this warhead. And Luther's like, but what if we didn't?
Yeah, give me a second here.
Yeah. And then
what if we didn't?
But in that moment, he realizes his love for his brother, and he could, even despite his jealousy, he could never kill his own brother.
Or be responsible for his death by not saving him.
Yeah. But even with that, though,
the
Lion somehow found out.
Of course.
So somehow the Lion returned. Somehow the Lion was found out, and they had like a massive falling out.
Yeah.
A falling out that resulted in the Luther and the majority of the Calibanite Space Marines being sent back to Caliban.
Yes.
Now this is specifically important because it's only Calibanite Space Marines.
Terran-born.
Exactly. Yeah. So they go back and
they're put on house arrest. They're grounded.
Yes. And Luther's kind of frustrated at this because he's like, I want to go and fight. I want to be at your side, but I did all these things, and it's like, oh, the Lion's getting all the glory and all that, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. So his own choices are coming back. There's consequences.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, the consequences of my actions.
They're coming back to haunt me.
Yeah. So Luther would end up back on Caliban, and he was having to deal with everything that's happening on Caliban. As per mentioned, there are some old nobility on the planet that are like, hey, we want things to go back to the way they were, because all those people, all those serfs and people that used to work for us are now working for the Imperium, and we have no way to make money, and we're starting to have to do stuff for ourselves. This sucks.
Yeah.
And Luther's like, I get it, but what if? Shut up.
Because they also took this magnificent planet and turned it into dirt.
Exactly. Turned it to one big dirt pile.
One big dirt ball.
Yes. And it's even it even gets so bad that once the Dark Angels leave and then come back, they're like, I don't know what this planet is.
It's not even recognizable anymore.
It's nothing to them. The only thing they recognize is the Home of the Order.
Yeah.
Which luckily was untouched by the Imperial
Flatteners.
Exactly. And then so alongside that, it turns out that a bunch of Chaos Sorcerers had brought corruption to Caliban.
Yes.
So they were kind of fueling this rebellion kind of thing, kind of stoking the anger in, so to speak. And because of that, it also ended up in Luther becoming more and more paranoid about the way Caliban was going.
Yes.
Because he was seeing this rebellion, he was seeing these Chaos Sorcerers about and what they were up to and what they were doing and everything. And he was very much like, oh, we could get raided here by the Imperium. And the Emperor and the Lion could just decide that they want to destroy the planet.
Yeah, and they're not even from here.
No, exactly. They're not from around here.
They don't even go here.
You don't even go here, dude. But they're like, he's just basically like, they don't know what it's like to live on Caliban. They don't know what Caliban means, even though it's a big fat-faced lie because the Lion grew up on Caliban.
Exactly.
So this all comes to a head with the fact that Luther was befriending a librarian named Zahariel.
Right.
This is the same librarian that had discovered Luther doing his weird stuff on the
on that ship at Sarash.
Yeah, on that ship at Sarash. So they would find a bunch of Terran Terran cultists on Caliban.
Oh, okay.
And they were performing a demonic ritual that was
fun.
Yeah, that was basically going to cause Caliban to just become a demon planet, basically. Okay. You know, because once you bring one demon in, they open up the gates, it becomes a floodgate of demons being let in.
Yeah.
So Zahariel stops this demonic ritual.
Oh, okay.
And because of this, Luther is like, that's enough. We need to protect Caliban at all costs.
Right.
No matter what, Caliban is what needs to be protected.
Right.
Nothing else matters. So he would rally Dark Angels to his side.
Okay.
Any kind, you know. Aspirants, trainees, full-on Dark Angels, any Dark Angels he would get on his side.
But only Calibanite ones.
Only Calibanite ones. And anyone that stepped against him would be killed.
Right.
He was not about to risk anything for what was going on and risk Caliban falling into, you know, the hands of people outside the planet.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, so this was roughly around the time as well that Luther would start studying the warp.
Right.
And he was taking what he was learning and he was starting to use it in fights and using it in training battles and stuff like that. Yeah. So much so that he would like go up against the librarians and he'd be able to just have any like mental shot they threw at them just dissipate away.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he would be able to just stop most psychic attacks against him.
Okay.
Which, you know, is really helpful.
Really beneficial.
For someone of his standing. But even with this, even with him being who he is, because of this, because of his distrust and because of, you know, stuff that was happening on the planet, he would eventually turn to making deals with entities of the warp.
Oh, goody.
Trying to get demonic forces to protect Caliban.
Right, because that's going to work out in his favor and have no...
Mm-hmm. Well, because of that, he kind of made deals and got power and stuff like that. And, and he just became more powerful in the warp.
Okay.
So he was basically, as I said, just like Caliban is all that needs to be protected here. We can't let Caliban fall. Because if we let Caliban fall, then what's the point, really?
Yeah.
Which led to him being labeled as a traitor.
Right.
But the important thing is that he refused to join Horus.
Right.
Yeah, because he went out and he got chastised for this decision later as well. He went out to help Horus in a campaign that Horus was leading.
Right.
But due to that, he would end up getting chastised by the Lion for leaving the planet and leaving Caliban unguarded. And then Horus would, you know, make his offers later on. So would Typhon, so would Erebus. They were, you know, influences for him.
Yeah.
Especially Callus Typhon, who he hid the Death Guard forces away from other forces that were trying to find Callus Typhon and his forces. He hid them in the warp and basically was like, I have no idea where these guys are.
Right.
Yeah. So he was a traitor to the Imperium, but he was just not in it with like, I want to betray, you know, the Emperor to that standpoint.
He wasn't on it for the greater scale of things. Yeah. He just wanted to protect his home.
He just wanted to protect Caliban at all points.
Yeah. Which, like, fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, like, you would. Like, you have your planet and you have, you know, everybody you love there. And it's like, okay, I want to keep them protected. I don't want them to, you know, get hurted.
Yeah. These outsiders came in and, like...
destroyed your way of life.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But that's the very short thing on, like, the Fallen.
Yeah.
Because these are the guys that became the Fallen. And this, yeah. And the Fallen basically are just a very dark mark on the history of the Dark Angels.
Right.
It's very much the thing of, like, you know, even speaking of the Fallen is against the rules.
Right.
Yeah. it's the joke of like a whole bunch of Dark Angels sat on a shell. It's like, it's like Fallen says, what? How do you know about the Fallen? Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Only a select few are allowed to know what the Fallen is,
Right.
and even then it's like, keep it hush hush. We don't want anyone knowing about the Fallen because we don't want to fall to the Fallen.
Rule number 1 of the Fallen.
Don't talk about
Don't
the Fallen.
talk about the Fallen.
Exactly. Rule number 1 about the Fallen. How do you know about the Fallen?
How do you know about the Fallen? What are the Fallen?
Let me tell you now. So like they have a whole bunch of stuff that happens with them post Heresy. They are directly related to why the Lion ends up destroying Caliban.
Right.
Yeah. So we'll get into them later on, probably post Heresy. Just a quick chat about what happened post Heresy with all the legions and stuff like that. But that also now leads us into what the Lion is doing around about the time of the Horus Heresy.
Enough about his brother. Let's what's
about
the Lion doing?
After Esteban 5, we know that Horus was like, send them off.
Yep.
Let's distract them, keep them busy so they don't come to Terra, all that. Blah,
send
blah,
them on a red goose chase, a goose herring.
One of those.
Whatever I was trying to say there.
Exactly. Horus had sent off Conrad and the Night Lords to distract the Lion by attacking the Triplex.
Okay.
Which was essentially a group of Forge Worlds that were responsible for supplying the legions and keeping them in. Mainly Dark Angels.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is like where they're getting. Okay, is this where they're getting Forge Worlds? That's where they're getting their armor, their ships, their weapons,
exactly, all that sort of stuff. This would begin with the Night Lords doing what they do best: terrorism, killing people.
Yeah,
but they were also trying to find a new homeworld,
right?
Because Conrad Kurz had decided that his wasn't very good.
He was gonna just absolutely drop
a nuclear weapon directly into the core and blow it all to hell. Yes,
yep,
exactly like that.
That one.
So this began with a slaughter across the Tharmas system.
Right.
With them just basically finding anybody they could get their hands on. So if that meant citizens, it meant citizens. If it meant planetary defenses, it meant planetary defenses.
Right.
Yes. But the thing is that they were rebelling too hard. The Night Lords expected it to be kind of easy because, they're just regular citizens.
Right.
But it was taking too long and the citizens were rebelling too much.
Okay.
So Conrad was like, nah. And anybody that held a weapon against them was just slain immediately.
Right.
Just killed.
Like they're not even fighting anymore at this point. They're just killing people,
Yeah.
not even
for they're just killing people to just kill people at this point.
Right.
So as this was happening, the Triplex would also come under control of the traitors.
Right.
As many of it, because a lot of the Magos of the planets were just going over to the traitors, as the Mechanicum were known to do during this period of time.
Oh yes.
And this was evident on the planet Thule, where the Magos of that planet would just immediately, without any question, they were just like, yes, we'll
follow you.
We'll follow you. And that's another thing is like, Forge Worlds are inhabited mainly by Adeptus Mechanicus.
Right.
So it's like when the entire planet's like, we'll do it. It's basically just have an entire planet of builders, inventors, and technological whizzes just being like, no, we'll fall to your bad side.
Yeah.
And then this would also end up with a quick victory at the other two planets, Galatia and Phal.
Okay.
Where they would trade, where the remaining Magos would trade their services for their lives in service of the War Master.
Oh, yeah, okay. I mean, fair deal.
Yeah.
Fair play.
Because they'd also build Titans. This was also one of the places they built Titans.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
So the Night Lords got brand new Titans.
Oh, yippee.
Yeah.
Not like they need that much extra firepower.
Exactly. So the Night Lords were like, wow, this is easy. We're getting through this pretty quick. Tharmas will soon be ours.
Right.
And then the Dark Angels show up.
Hooray.
Yay.
That's going to throw a stick in the spokes of the bicycle of the plan.
Yes. The first thing that the Dark Angels would do is they would attack the ships above Galatia.
Okay.
And this would result in a pinpoint attack on the defending Night Lord ships. So they went in there and they struck hard.
Okay.
And they won the first skirmish.
Sweet.
And the Lion would take a commander of the ship known as the Shadow of Justice, and he tortured him into giving up information about the other ships.
Right.
And the information that he got out was that the ships left in orbit would not be able to contest at the Dark Angels.
Okay.
Which led to the destruction of over 100 Night Lord ships.
Fantastic.
Yes, very much so. So this would also mean that they were able to get down to the planet's surface. Right. And the first people to attack would be the Deathwing, which are a branch of the Dark Angels.
Yep.
And this attack would essentially wipe them all out.
Okay.
Just knock them all off the board. That's what they were up against, because it was a whole bunch of just, Adeptus Mechanicus with all of their doohickeys and all of their doodads and all that sort of stuff.
Gizmos and thingamajigs.
Gizmos and gadgets and stuff like that. They would go down there, and the second wave would immediately come to blows with the Mechanicum again. Like, it was immediate. Like, they came down, immediate warfare.
Okay.
And this would lead to... Okay, so real quick. Remember how I told you that the Lion was extremely head-forth about using contingencies plans that were for last moments at all costs?
Yeah, like he didn't want to do the Exterminatus and stuff unless it was absolutely 100% necessary.
So there were a lot of 100% necessary moments during this.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So he uses Exindio robots.
Ah.
And you remember what the Men of Iron were, right?
Vaguely.
They were they were pre-Dark Age of technology robots that had artificial intelligence.
Right.
Think Ultron.
Yeah.
But good. Like, that's what? Think Vision.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they turned and stuff like that. But what happened with them is that some of them were able to be taken in and forced into compliance to the Imperium.
Okay.
So they would be left in, pods and stuff like that, just waiting to be used.
So now they're more like Winter Soldier.
Kind of, exactly. And the Lion released 12 of them.
Oh.
On Galatia.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. But what's even worse is the fact that he lost 5 of them to a Mechanicum horror that they were fighting against, yeah. And this Mechanicum horror was just described as essentially just a giant machine.
Okay.
Yeah. And they would fight against him, but the 7 would remain.
Okay.
Alongside the Lion, and it would be a victory for the Dark Angels.
Very good.
But even with this, he decided to release Phosphex on the planet.
Phosphex?
Phosphex is a flame that can burn without fuel or oxygen.
Oh, yeah. Those are the big guns.
Also known as, in our world, napalm.
Ah.
Yes.
I see.
It burns until it has nothing left to burn, and then it burns itself out.
I see.
Yeah, so so it's not quite napalm. It's because napalm still needs oxygen to burn. Yeah. Once it's out of oxygen, it will burn itself out.
Yeah,
that's just how fire works.
Yes. So this is napalm on.
It's napalm plus.
Napalm plus. Yeah. Napalm squared.
To give you an idea, in the 41st millennium, when they discover how to make Phosphex again, the Mechanicus priest who finds it is so disturbed by what it is and what it was used for that he destroys the last piece of the STC and is labeled a heretic for destroying an STC.
Wow.
And burned at the stake for doing so.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's... Yeah.
That's how serious
this stuff is.
Fantastic. Yeah. So they light
the planet
on fire.
And
Fantastic.
all that's left is the orbital shipyards. That's all that's left useful.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So next, the planet of Fall would be easily won by the Dark Angels.
Okay. The defenses falled down pretty quick there.
Anyway. But the reason is because when the traitors left, when the Night Lords had left the planet, the loyalists left in their ranks, left in the ranks of the Imperial military that was on the planet, the Mechanicum that were on the planet, all that sort of stuff.
Yep.
Went against the traitors, which means that by the time they got there was already civil war.
Right.
Which meant that the Dark Angels were able to bring it to, their part.
Right.
Very easily. Yes. And it was essentially just these loyalists giving the planet to the Dark Angels at that point.
Okay.
It was the Dark
Angels being like, here, take over.
Pretty much, it was basically the Dark Angels came and they were like, "Oh, great! Now, once we're done, we're in your debt."
Yeah.
So the victory over the Triplex, would result in the Dark Angels pushing hard. They were going up really, really hard against the Night Lords, basically trying to win this fight as quick as they could.
Yeah.
But the Night Lords were pushing back way too hard.
Okay.
And this essentially led to a sort of stalemate between the Night Lords and the Dark Angels.
Okay.
With both legions being like spread across 4 different sectors of this area.
So that's totally going to make things easier for everybody.
Oh, so good. And this would result in something called the Midnight Treaties being activated by Comrade Kurz.
Oh, that sounds so lovely.
Mm-hmm. So basically what Comrade Kurz had done is he had gone around to like the most vile and like most debased people of each one of these planets and were like, hey, work for me and we'll help each other out. I'll get the planet for you. Even with this, there was also a group of traitor White Scars in their ranks too.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yikes.
See,
okay.
He had resources.
Yeah.
So he would bring these reinforcements up to the fight. Right? He brought them in, and he was like, "Okay, you're gonna help us fight. You know, we're gonna win this system for you.
Yeah,
and it's gonna be great."
Yeah.
They were cannon fodder. Yeah, they were basically just being thrown at the Dark Angels' defenses,
right,
to slow them down.
To take up ammunition and slow them down.
Yeah, take up ammunition, take up as much supplies as they could, and slow them down enough that the Night Lords could basically finish off the job after the fact.
Right.
And it was so bad, that the Night Lords commanders were putting bets on how many would survive before the Dark Angels wiped them out.
Wow.
Wiped them out completely. How long that they were going to survive up against the Dark Angels.
These were just regular civilians of these planets.
Essentially, yeah. Basically just your average guardsman plus.
Nice.
Yeah. And they were used to clear minefield, literally thrown at the Dark Angels.
That is terrible.
Yeah. And they were used to hide the size of the Night Lords' numbers.
Wow.
Yeah. They were there just to make it seem like, oh, the Night Lords are on the back foot because they're sending out all of these regular civilians to fight for them. Because the Night Lords had a slave army.
Yeah.
It's basically like, you fight for us or you die.
Right. Very, very on par for them.
Exactly. And it also resulted in the only people not being extremely cruel in the fighting of all these planets being the White Scars. And the only reason that they weren't being cruel, is because they were letting the wounded escape.
Wow.
Yeah. They were letting the sick and injured get out.
Such kindness.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in comparison to the Night Lords, they're saints.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah. As I said, these militias were across the planets doing stuff, fighting against the Dark Angels as hard as they could.
Yeah.
And after it got to a point where Kurz was like, yeah, now's the time to strike, he would come back into the fight.
Okay.
Yeah. And this would lead to a bunch of attacks on half a dozen worlds.
Right.
And it was there was one precision pinpoint attack on the planet of Shenro where the Dark Angels were literally outnumbered 3-1.
Ooh.
So it was a single chapter of the Dark Angels as opposed to 3 chapters of
the Night Lords.
And
yikes.
A chapter is 1,000 men.
Right.
There's 1,000 Astartes, which means it was 1,000 Dark Angels Astartes
to 3,000
to 3,000 Night Lords Astartes.
Yikes.
Yeah. And the Dark Angels on the back foot, obviously, in a fight 3-1.
Yeah.
They were like, we got to do something. So they called for orbital strikes on their own position to have the Night Lords back up a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
That's taking themselves out, knowing that they were going to take out a larger amount of Night Lords.
Exactly.
Higher victory than loss.
Exactly.
Significant loss.
Yeah. You got to weigh your losses from your wins and all that sort of stuff. It's all they could do. It would also, another planet was Cedrus.
Okay.
Where they got through the orbital defenses of the planet, bombarded the planet's defenses, so the orbital weapons on the planet, only so they could land and violently massacre any loyalist on the planet.
Oh, wow.
With the only ones being able to escape literally being let by the White Scars again.
Wow.
Yes. And then there's a bit more after this. They take 4 more worlds alongside this.
Okay.
And it would lead them to attacking the Crucible, which was basically the only planet that the Dark Angels had outside of the triplex that was, essentially only theirs.
Right.
Where the fight was happening. So the Night Lords would again call for cannon fodder on this world.
Oh, fantastic.
Sending in their slave armies to attack as many Dark Angels as they could.
Right.
But they would also land Titans on the planet.
Oh, fun. From their new best friends.
From their new best friends, yes. The Dark Angels weren't exactly losing, but they weren't exactly winning either.
Right.
So it was a lot of small victories all over the place, a lot of Night Lord commanders, killing another Dark Angels commander and, pushing them back a little bit.
Small victories, heavy losses.
Small victories, heavy losses. But this would also lead to the extremely cocky Night Lord commanders beginning to fight over who had won what.
Oh.
Yes.
Because that's always going to go well.
Yeah, well, they're just being cocky because they're very much like, I killed this many people. I killed this many people.
Right.
It's all about it's all about stacking bodies. That's the thing with the Night Lords is they're all about as much terror, as much destruction, as much killing as you possibly can get.
Yeah,
and fighting their brother Astartes is basically like a kid in a candy store.
Yeah.
It's like, I killed this many of my brothers. I killed this many of my brothers. It's like, it's fine. It's one of those things. It's like finally a challenge in that kind of thing.
Yeah. To be able to be fighting someone on the same level.
Yeah. To be able to fight, fight someone your own size.
Yeah.
But this little fight, this little bickering, would lead an opening for the Lion to attack.
Of course.
Yes.
Of course. Because if they're too busy having a mine is bigger competition, they're going to be distracted.
Exactly. So he would lead in the robots again, the Exendio, or whatever they're called.
The 7 left.
The 7 left. And he would go, hey, you see the big guy with the greasy hair and the blue and the pale skin?
Yeah.
Go attack that guy while I go and deal with something over here.
Right.
They were no match for Kurz.
Of course.
He took them out, but it was a hard-won fight.
Yeah.
Because they are robots and he is a Primarch, so, they're basically on the same level as each other.
Of course.
But that would also mean that the Dark Angels got a jump on those commanders that were basically, peacocking.
Yeah.
And this also led to a stalemate because it was just constant stalemates throughout the fight.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, we just got to keep pushing. And the Night Lords were like, we've got to kill as many as we can.
Yeah.
The White Scar traitors turned traitor.
A double traitorception.
The traitorception, triple agents.
Right.
And they fought the Night Lords back.
Okay.
Which made this battle on the Crucible basically just like done for.
Right.
And it was the Night Lords were like, well, we got to retreat again. We have to retreat again. So Kurz was dragged screaming from the battlefield.
Of course.
He was like, lion, face me now.
Big baby.
Big baby. So after this, Kurz would go off and he's not limping, but he's definitely whimpering from a loss. Yeah. He's like, well, my sons took me away from the bed.
Yeah. Tails between his legs, but he's unharmed.
Exactly. So immediately after this, the Dark Angel would make a strike at Tharmas.
Okay.
And they would discover that the planet had been almost completely ruined by the Aluan Huda, which was a old Forge world that hid across the galaxy. So they were moving the Forge world around the galaxy to hide from the Imperium.
Oh, I love that.
Yes. And it was a giant moving moon, and it's like basically the Death Star.
Yeah.
Minus the giant super weapons.
Right.
Yeah.
This is just a giant super weapon factory. Exactly. Right.
And the Dark Angels would land on the moon, and they would fight a good fight. Like they were putting up a good one on this moon. Okay. But they would also meet a lovely little person named the Witch of Tharmas. Which was a large dark Magos. And you remember what the Mechanicum are like, changing their bodies and, becoming more, the moment I learned the weakness of my flesh, it disgusted me, that kind of thing.
Plug another dreadnought directly into my servos.
Directly into my brainstem, as you wish, Magos. So this dark Magos of the Dark Mechanicum was all machinery. Oh. Yeah, they were basically just organs rattling around in a metal can.
Right. Yeah. So even farther than General Grievous was.
Yeah. they're worse than Belisarius Cawl in the 41st millennium. Like Belisarius Cawl still has organic components.
Right.
And he is the archmagos of the Imperium.
Right. And this guy is just completely lost.
Yeah, completely lost, completely mechanical.
Okay.
And this Witch of Tharmas was so strong, was so just aggressive.
Yeah.
That even a dreadnought couldn't go up against them and make any kind of a headway and damage and stuff like that. So they start fighting this, and they're trying to, take it down, suffering losses, all that sort of stuff.
Yep.
And the now former traitor White Scars.
Right. So are they back to being loyalists technically, or like?
No.
What are they up to?
They are just White Scars. Because at this point, they can't even be considered loyalists because they'd already turned traitor.
Right.
It would be like, I'm trying to think of one that would be easy. There we go. It would be like the Emperor's Children trying to come back to the Imperium. Right. They want to be back with Fulgrim. They want to, not be the Emperor's Children stuck in the warp, all that sort of stuff.
Right.
They want Fulgrim to lead them again. But they're not loyalists because they were already traitor and they've already gone through that thing of betraying the Imperium. Right. Now, these White Scars haven't been corrupted by chaos, mind you.
They've just broken all of the rules.
They've just broken all of their rules. So they're not loyalists. They're still traitors, but they're not traitors.
Right. They're not heretics.
They're not heretics. There you go. That's it.
They're not heretics.
They're not heretics. So they're traitors, but they're not heretics.
Right.
That's the way to look at it. So they would discover the generators of the moon.
Okay.
And they were like, hey, they got on the horn and they were like, hey, Lion, buddy, I know we've done some bad shit, but could you, in your infinite wisdom, please get everybody off the planet?
Okay.
Yeah. So they basically started the retreat process and they blew the reactors. Yeah. So they gave their life to, give the Dark Angels a chance.
Right.
So as this destruction is happening, as stuff is starting to erupt and stuff like that, the Lion would use his blade to bring down the Witch of Tharmas.
Okay.
Yeah, he used a sword where a dreadnought's artillery cannons could not.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah. So he'd bring down the witch, and he and all of the wounded and all of the men that were left on the moon would escape, and then the moon would just kind of like
blow up.
Not blow up. They just kind of got out of there, got out of Dodge. So after this, we learn that Kurz is on Sagulasa. Oh my lord!
Bless you.
Sagulasa.
Okay.
Yeah, Sagulasa, and he would give the Lion a hail.
Okay.
And he would be like, hey, Lion.
Come fight me, you won't.
Yeah. Hey, Lion, if you ain't a you'll come fight me. And bring your Lord Commanders too. We'll have a beatdown.
Bet.
Yeah. So the Lion goes, well, I ain't a so I think I'm going to go there. So they meet up on Sagulasa.
Yep.
And Kurz is basically talking smack.
Right.
Real hard to the Lion. He's
right.
And he mentions Luther. And Caliban, and what all's going on there. And he's basically like, your brother, your most trusted brother, has turned traitor against you, has turned traitor against the Imperium, and his actions are going to directly lead to the destruction of Caliban.
Oh no.
Yes. And it's one of those things where it's like, prophecy, most likely outcome, probably going to happen, even though if we just talk to them,
it probably could be fine, but now that we've said it, it won't.
Exactly. And the Lion, being the Lion, much like he was with Russ, slaps the crap out of Kurz,
of course,
which leads to just an all-out fight between the Lord Commanders and the two Primarchs.
Yeah.
And they were going at it hard. They were fighting each other hard.
Right. Nobody's pulling punches. It's full blown.
They are going for kill shots at this point.
Yeah.
And Kurz gets the upper hand on the Lion. And he has his hands around the Lion's neck and he's like choking him out.
Right.
Like he would have killed the Lion in that moment if he had not been rammed through with a sword to the spine.
Ooh.
Yeah. One of the Lion's commanders took his sword and just rammed it through Conrad.
Damn.
Which would end up with both sides calling for reinforcements and calling for a retreat. Yeah, because the Lion is not doing too well right now, and the Night Lords are like, well, our Primarch just got ran through, so we're going to have to step back from this.
Right.
But even with that, the Night Lords got the final blow.
Oh, okay.
Because one of the Lion's commanders that he took with him got beheaded.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
okay.
Fun times.
So that puts the Night Angel...
the Night Angels.
The Night Angels. The Night Lords. Just one step ahead.
They've got enough of those jokes about Ferris men. Head and shoulders above the rest. But this was the point where the Night Lords were like, we gotta go. So they start retreating. And they start enacting scorched earth policies among the chapters.
That sounds fiery.
They would burn down and loot anything in their way.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. And it got pretty bad. It got so bad that the Lion would go, just burn the worlds. Just burn the worlds. We can't keep doing this. We need to put a stop to this right now.
Yeah.
Essentially saying, like, we need to stop them while they're ahead. Like, we need to get the Night Lords on the back foot, basically. Yeah. So he would burn the planets.
Okay.
Yeah. And
like before the Night Lords had even touched down.
Yeah. So before the Night Lords even touched down, they would burn the planets to ash.
Right.
Because the Night Lords' way of doing things is like, okay, we'll steal supplies from planets,
right,
and then we'll move on our way. So he was trying to have the Night Lords be
cut off
and hard for supplies.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alongside that as well, the Dark Angels would return to Tharmas once again.
Okay.
And remember the Phosphex?
Yep.
Our lovely, lovely little Lionel Johnson called for it to be used on Tharmas.
Oh, no.
Simply so he could land and retrieve something called the Perditus.
From what I found, that's the place, not the object.
Is it?
Yes.
Gage, erase that. Yeah, just so he could stop the resistance.
Right.
Because the Tharmas was one of the first planets that the Night Lords got.
Okay.
Yeah. So now it is your turn.
My turn.
Because I wasn't able to finish the research this week because I had stuff happen at school.
That is okay. Yeah, so like you said, the Lion wanted to land on Tharmas.
Yeah.
And there was a place that had been called Perditus.
Yeah.
When the planet was still
a planet.
A planet. And there he found an ancient artifact.
Okay. And
this was called the Tchula. No, Tchulcha.
To who?
Tchulcha? The Chihuahua.
The Chihuahua.
The Chihuahua of
Tahukala.
Huku, Humu, the fish from the thing. Okay, sorry.
Anyway, a sentient warp entity.
Yes, that was... Yeah, so a quick side note, this thing, the Tchulcha, was part of a trio. There were three of them. There was this guy, the Ouroboros, and the Plague Heart.
Yes.
And when all three of them got together and did their warp things together, they could make a rift in space and time. Yeah. They could absolutely just kind of do whatever they wanted. Mm-hmm. But on its own, this thing was capable of executing extremely precise and extremely accurate warp jumps.
Really?
So this would be...
It's like an astropathic relay times 100.
That can beam you down, Scotty, directly to where you want to be.
Oh. So it's a
teleporter.
Oh, well, it's a webway. It's basically a webway.
It's a sentient... Well, it itself is not the webway. It can just maneuver you through it.
Okay.
But also, it's like
a pocket. It's like a pocket webway. Instead of being like a highway, we're on a dirt road.
Kind of.
Got you.
But also, this is your GPS.
Got you. Okay.
That is actually sentient.
Okay.
So imagine if your Siri, your Google Maps, whatever, could just directly talk to you, and was eons old, and at some point its chosen method of communication is through the corpse of a child.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, that comes later on.
Okay.
Either way. So this is what the Lion was after, and he had a plan on exactly how to use it.
Okay.
So
what's that plan?
The plan is that he kind of took, once he had this thing in his possession, he kind of pulled back a little bit And there were some, I think these guys were loyalists that were fighting against the Night Lords. These guys are the lords of the Gul'Gorand.
Yeah.
And the Lion told them that there were some of the Night Lords. He gave away these Night Lords information.
Yeah.
Knowing that these Lord guys were going to try and go after these Night Lords, which would create a gap in the Loyalist forces that the Night Lords would want to jump on.
Oh. Okay.
So he did a little bit of a information, whatever, to draw in the Night Lords. And it worked.
Yeah.
So once the Night Lords took the bait...
Yeah.
There would be sort of a final beatdown, and this took place on the planet called Sheol 9.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure that's how it's pronounced.
Shelob 9.
Shelob 9. So the Night Lords would take the bait, and they would come down.
Yep.
And the Lion would muster 300 of the Dark Angel's capital ships.
Yeah.
And they used the T'Chulcha to warp directly into the center of the fray of the Night Lords.
Oh, really?
Directly into the center. And their numbers were sitting about 200 capital ships.
Yeah.
And like 600 smaller ships.
Damn.
So the outnumbering has now been reversed.
Yeah.
And of course, the Night Guards are caught completely off guard. Like the Dark Angels just appeared from the middle, like in the middle, out of thin air, with no warning.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously they're slaughtered. The Night Lords are actually slaughtered. A lot of ships were just immediately gunned right down.
Yeah.
A lot attempted to flee. There were about 100 that realized that they weren't going to be able to retreat. Yeah. So they just turned right on the Dark Angels. They were trying to take out as many ships with them.
Yeah.
Yada yada. About 50 actually made it close to the Dark Angels, but majority were just gunned down immediately.
Yeah.
And the Dark Angels, they didn't pursue any of the retreating forces.
Yeah.
They just focused in on all of the ships that were trying to
attack them.
And the ones that were closer in orbit to the... Because this is all... I said this happened on Sheol. That's incorrect. They were in orbit around this planet.
So basically, the Night Lords were on the surface.
They were on the surface and in orbit.
Yeah.
And then the Dark Angels just came in kind of in the middle.
So they were trying to isolate anybody that was on the surface, stop them from getting out of there.
Exactly. Yeah. So an important ship to note is that the Nightfall, the flagship where Kurz currently is one of those that are in orbit that isn't going to be able to run away.
Ooh.
So... yeah, this battle is mostly just chaos. Yeah. It's just everyone's shooting at everybody sort of thing. And the Lion would hear that Kurz was on the surface of the planet at some point. So he goes down there. Of course, they start duking it out. Mm-hmm. They would come to blows, epic fight, and the Lion was able to put Kurz into a coma.
Really?
Basically. He was able to hurt him, and he had that previous injury of being run through his spine. So he was already on a bad foot.
On the back foot, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, Kurz is sent into a coma, and the Lion got the winning hit there. Now, one of the Dark Angel's ships, the Firewing, would turn heavy fire onto the Nightfall.
Yeah.
But the Night Lords had a smaller ship called the Feral Heart. Ooh. And that ship self-destructed to cause a distraction, which let the Nightfall I think the Nightfall was still there, but a lot of the traitor ships were able to escape and get into the warp and get out of there.
Yeah.
So now Kurz is down for the count. His first commander, a guy named Sevatar, is now in charge of the Night Lords.
Yeah.
He and a bunch of the other commanders could not agree on what to do. Mm-hmm. So he kills them.
Oh.
Sevatar just kills them.
Outright, just knocks them off.
Yeah. So, he gets rid of these guys and rallies the rest of the Night Lords that had kind of still been okay after this.
Yeah.
And gets them all to show up to this planet called Ketch.
Yeah.
And so they're trying to sort themselves out there. Dark Angels are in hot pursuit, though. There was a nasty skirmish.
Yeah.
Again, lots of chaos. They're just kind of back and forth until... Okay, sorry, let me try that again. The Dark Angels, heavy guns,
Yeah.
nasty skirmish, and the Night Lords they launched a counterattack,
Yeah.
but it was about to fail because they weren't doing too hot. And what do you know? Kurz appears.
Oh.
He's fine. He's back on his feet. And they come... He's up on the battlefield, leading his troops again, and then eventually ends up on the Invincible Reason, which is another one of the Dark Angel ships.
Yeah.
Him and Lionel come to blows again, but it was still... Nobody was winning. It was just all bad. So Kurz causes another distraction and leads a retreat.
Mm-hmm.
However, it's only somewhat successful, and Kurz himself and Sevatar would be stuck on the ship.
Yeah.
Some troops were able to get away, but unfortunately, Kurz would not be seeing the light of day for a long time.
Unfortunately?
Unfortunately for him.
Yeah.
Fortunately for literally the entire
galaxy, yeah.
But that's sort of... It's a little bit anticlimactic after all of that.
It not really knowing what comes next, but...
Yeah. For the quote-unquote end of the battle, that's sort of where we leave the fighting.
Yeah.
So after this, the remaining Night Lords kind of just scatter into small bands of raiding parties, and they kind of just continue to be the little that they are.
Yeah. Basically just like terrorizing as many people as they can, really.
Yes. Some smaller bands do end up joining Horus directly.
Yeah.
But a lot of them are just out to mess with the Imperium as much as they can.
Mm-hmm.
The entire Thramis sector is now in ruin.
Yeah.
The Lion, he's big sad.
Yeah.
He's big sad. He is like depressed. Get this man some Zoloft or something. Now, he hears that a little ways across the galaxy, one of his brothers is having a tough time. So he heads over to Ultramar.
Yay!
Because there's rumor that the World Eaters and the Word Bearers...
Yeah, there you go.
I got it right.
Yeah.
I didn't even write the word. I just wrote the Bearers.
Yeah.
The Eaters and the Bears.
Yeah, the Eaters of World and the Bearers of the Word.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this, him on the way to Ultramar...
Yeah.
Ends up with him eventually getting holy moly. Sorry.
Interned into the Imperium Secundus. Yeah, because right now is roughly where the Battle of Calth is happening.
Yes.
Yes, which is what we will be talking about next week.
Hooray.
Hooray.
That brings us to the end of the spiel on the Lion.
Yes, it's a very long one. A lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, lots of back and forth, lots of names of planets that are just brought up only to be destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
This is like a Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it's the Warhammer thing of I'm going to introduce this character only to kill them in the next chapter.
Exactly. Yeah. Everyone's dead. This whole sector is burnt to a crisp.
Yeah.
And yeah,
that's all we can say.
That's all she wrote, folks.
But you know what else we can say?
What else can we say?
We can say thank you for watching.
Yeah.
And if you're on the YouTube, please give us a like and a subscribe and a comment.
Yeah.
And if you're on the Spotify, please give us a follow, a download, a comment there too if you can.
Yep. Can you comment on Spotify?
You can. On podcasts.
Yeah. All right. I learned something new today.
And if you're in one of our other platforms.
Yep.
I'm curious as to how you're listening to this, unless you're listening from the future. Then, hi, thank you as well. But yeah, thank you guys for listening. And next week, we're going to be talking about Guilliman and the Battle of Calth.
Hooray.
And maybe a little bit of the Imperium Secundus. Depends on how much the Battle of Calth takes up.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. But thank you guys all for being here.
Yeah. And we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye. Bye.